what is it about that rivalry that sticks out the most to you, and why isn't it so important to both towns?
I think it's been important for a long time. I think just for years and years, like maybe long before me, because of our locations and maybe similarities. Our kids know each other, and so sometimes that fuels the fire a little bit. Um, and it's purples.
Welcome to another edition of Small Town Ball. I'm Austin Jacobsen, and we have got a dandy for you here on one of our first episodes, as it's Minden Volleyball's Coach Julie Ratka. Coach, thanks for spending some time with us today, and I know you're gearing up and getting ready for a busy part of the season, but we appreciate some of your time today.
No problem.
All right, Coach. So first and foremost, I got to start with where last season ended, and really where the last 2 years ended, because the Whippet program has tremendously improved. If you look over the past 5, 6, 7 years, to where you guys were the past 2 years, a lot of people from outside of the area could target it and point and say, oh, well, you just got a lot of great and talented kids. But I know that there was a lot of extra effort and work that went into that back-to-back state title run in C1. Can you walk me through a little bit about what were like the little moments that made this group stand out to you, especially over the past 2 seasons?
They're tremendous kids. Besides being tremendous athletes, tremendous kids, tremendous students, great leaders. It was a great group of kids. It was a blessing to be able to work with them. I was an assistant coach for a long time, and so we've had kind of a rich history, but never maybe could get the title. And so just kind of keeping that legacy, kept a lot of things the same, but added some things in, some team building things and different things like that to go after the championship.
I thought it was pretty unique following the story and just looking back over the past, preparing for this, looking back through the past couple of years of your guys' success and the turn that you made right at about 2021, 2022. Did you notice that there was a different change or buy-in just with the program? It even felt like the community just really got involved with the volleyball program. I mean, your matches were sold out more often than not. It always looked like a packed gym.
It was packed, and our community really does a great job of following all of our sports. But yeah, it was probably extra special. Just our community was huge. In terms of buy-in, I mean, I think that the kids kind of brought that along just because of who they are, how they conduct themselves in the community, and we always have good community backing, really. It's a great town to live in.
Minden's such a great community itself. I mean, it's just nestled right there in the heart of the Southwest Conference with a lot of great competition. And we'll get to all that, but I really want to focus on what made the past year's team so special. And we'll preview what's coming up for the Whippets this upcoming season. But a lot of people pointed to all that great talent, like I had said before. But you guys were in a lot of battles, especially those last 2 championship matches. And you really had to work hard and do the little things right. How important was it for you and the kind of coaching philosophy that you have and you've built over the past 7 seasons now with the Whippets to kind of build those little moments to be able to get your team ready for those championships?
It was critically important because I knew what the kids' goal was, and it was my goal too. And so I definitely wanted to spend time to make sure I put in the time to make those things happen. I mean, we added some things, like we did a theme Wednesday. They chose a theme and they dress up, and we try to keep things light and fun so that they stay engaged. I'm trying to think what else. Just a lot of little details, a lot of scout time. They do a lot of scout time on their own, and they're great kids with high volleyball IQs, and so they can do the scout work. And then when we come together, we can kind of share different perspectives of what we saw. Sometimes I would have, in the past couple of years, called myself more of a facilitator than a coach, just because I could get their input. And then I kind of had the final decision, but I took their input really to heart, because they had a good beat on whether it was the opponent or whether it was what we needed as a team. If we needed a break, I took those things into consideration, just because I felt that their input was so important.
And of course, that team last year, led by plenty of seniors. You do have a couple of key pieces returning this upcoming season, but how does that change so much now coming into this year? Has that already been a conversation? Before we got on, you talked about top 10 had just wrapped up and your summer camps, and you're getting ready for those fall practices. Do you already have an idea of how your coaching style changes year to year, especially going from where the team was an upperclassman last year to what you have this coming year?
I don't know that my well, I probably it might change just a little bit. I'll probably have to be a little more patient. And we're going to have to some of our players are fairly inexperienced. And so we're going to have to do a little more skill work. Whereas in years prior, we've kind of jumped right into 6-on-6 and been more competitive right away. Not that we're not going to be, but we're going to have to maybe spend a little more time on skill development and making sure we're hitting all those things so that our players can gain the experience they need to compete at the level that we want to compete at.
So talking on not only that experience, but the challenges that your team will face just on the court, outside of the practices and replacing talent, but it's a tough area. And I don't know that a lot of people from this side of the eastern side of the state and the metros understand how difficult Class C1 volleyball can be, and also how rich in talent and the teams are when it comes to that central part of the state. Because I know you've had your battles with Kearney Catholic. Gothenburg has had some great teams over the years. Holdrege has been up. Broken Bow's had some great teams as well. How do you deal with just the day in and day out metal that comes with either the Southwest Conference, your district, or really whoever you can even just schedule 45 minutes away for a road game?
How do I deal with it? Well, it's pretty intense, and you just want to be prepared all the time. And so it's probably rarely a day off during the season. Like, you're always doing something. But we have in this area, we just have had great coaches, great longtime coaches, and kids that really buy into working hard as a whole in central Nebraska. I think that's part of it. We have band camp going on, just FYI. So if you hear some band,
Well, again, I mean that's what we love, right? It's the small town aspect of it.
Yes,
you're feeding into it a little bit,
right? I just heard him out there, so I was like, ooh. But yeah, central Nebraska is just awesome for talented athletes, but also great coaches that are great people.
Now, I do want to ask you too, over the past couple of years, there's been the battles with, and I mentioned Kearney Catholic. They've been one of the top competitors for your guys' crown, especially in that 23 season.
Yep.
When you look back on the 100 plus wins that you've had so far in this tenure with Minden, is there any, and I'm gonna take an out. I'm gonna say you can't use the state championships, but is
Okay.
there a win from that area, from that time, from any of those 100 plus that just felt a little bit sweeter than the rest?
Oh gosh, now you're really making me think. Oh gosh, we've had some really good wins. Um, can you come back to that
Yeah,
question?
yeah. Well, let's ask about your team coming up this year. So obviously, last year you graduated, plenty of talent with the seniors in Camry Emery or Camry Betty and a couple of others there too. So you
Yeah.
have a lot of talent to replace, but
Yep.
it feels like the target's still going to be on Minden, especially just where you are located in the state. A rising junior as well. Where do you sit right now in how the team is coming together, especially after you just exited some of those summer camps?
Well, obviously, Mila Emery is running our offense as the setter. And we're still running a 6-2, so we have a sophomore setter in Tori Hansen that's stepped into that role. We didn't have enough hitters maybe to replace those that we lost to let Mila set all the way around, but she is a tremendous setter. So it would have been nice too, but that wasn't in the cards for us. So yeah, we have a middle that's in Allie Cedarberg. She's a sophomore. She's a nice player, and Kaylee Carr is a sophomore. She's a outside hitter. She'll do a nice job for us. Rebecca Lemke has played for 3 years. She's kind of maybe carrying a little bit more load than she has in the past years, and so she's doing a really good job. And then, sorry, my lights just went off.
That's totally fine.
Then I have another girl that's a senior McKenna Anderson, that's gonna be in the libero spot most likely. So
yeah,
it's kind of coming together.
So out of all of those spots, and you never want to paint too much of a target onto your team and let them know, but there has to be some of that pressure that comes with replacing such two talented teams that came before them. Yeah. Is there a part of that where you're sensing that, hey, we just got to play what we have this season? There's nothing we can do about bringing someone back, and it's not about replacing them. It's playing how we are right now.
Absolutely. I think I haven't ever had to communicate that to the girls. I think we just know it. Like, we can't go backwards. We can't bring them back. We can't recruit new players to come in. So we have what we have, and we have to, we as coaches have to do a great job of developing those skills and making sure our players are ready to play, especially because we play in whether it be a tough conference or a tough area. So we need to keep developing.
And with that development too, I don't want to keep harping on kind of the same points, but with the team that you've had coming up through the past few years behind the stars that you had, how does playing in competitive conferences and in your area help develop that next level talent, the ones that are coming up this year as sophomores and juniors? Because as competitive as the varsity matches are, I'm sure that JV has to be just as tough, and it has to develop at least some of those skills needed when they are asked to make that start then on varsity.
I think, playing in our area, JV matches, reserve, whether it be reserve or JV matches, those are competitive. But in the last probably the last 3 years, possibly 4, I would have said we would have had one of the most competitive gyms in the state. So those young players playing against our varsity players or our top level players, they were developing skills during practice, maybe more so than even in JV and reserve games.
So as you look through your slate on a schedule that's coming up, referring back to last season, it was a gauntlet at different times. And the fact that your Whippets ended 37-1 is impressive enough. But as you look to where this season can go, you invited in a lot of those Kansas area schools that ended up with great records. You played in some of the high profile tournaments and invites that are weekend long tournaments that I would argue going out there and seeing them, especially in Gothenburg, those are state tournament like environments themselves, especially with the caliber of teams that are around them. Absolutely. Do you still try to focus on going out there and competing against these teams, or do you take a different approach in the teams you put into your schedule?
We changed. Well, we had just a couple teams maybe drop us from their schedule, but we did not change our schedule. So we're gonna be competing just like we were in the past. We have Lincoln Lutheran on our schedule still. They'll be a great team. Going to the Gothenburg tournament again, the Harvest Festival, the Holdrege tournament will be good this year. So yeah, we haven't really changed we are going to Beloit this year, and so we really haven't changed our schedule. It'll be just as competitive, and we'll have to figure some things out along the way, and probably our youth will show it sometimes, but that's just part of it. It's part of learning.
How fun is that for a program like Minden to be able to you make a trip to Kansas, and last year you were at Lincoln Lutheran, so you're playing some of the top teams either from a different state, a different class, but you're going out of your way to play at schools that you wouldn't usually see in any of the athletics for Minden, right? I mean,
Right.
is that a priority when you're looking at other teams and other ways that you can fit competition in?
For sure in the last 3 years, it's been a priority to make sure we were playing the best competition because we wanted to be ready to play the best competition in November. And so, yeah, it was definitely a priority. My AD is really good about um, trying to make sure that we're in that situation, and he helps a lot with that.
So as you look at this upcoming year in the Southwest Conference, you're going to have some tough rounds and tough bouts with different teams from that area. Are there any teams that you're especially looking forward to seeing, or ones that you think have taken that next jump up?
Yeah, so obviously we just played at top 10, which is great competition. We played Holdrege and Ogallala and Milford, um, Lincoln Lutheran. And so we saw those, and they're all going to be really good. They're great teams. They're going to be well coached and athletic. And so, yeah, they're ready to go. And they probably, all of those teams have taken a step in the right direction. Fairbury, we also saw they're going to be a good team. So yeah. You asked me earlier about a match, and then the
Yes.
Lincoln Lutheran match kind of came to my mind. That was a super fun one. That was a 5-setter. And the fifth set was just some tremendous play, and so that was a super fun one. And then I think in 2023, the Gothenburg match was here, and the gym was packed, and that was I think it went 5 sets, but I might be wrong on that. I don't always have a great memory for all of that. Like other coaches I know always can remember all those details. That wouldn't necessarily be my forte, but I think that was a great match. But just anytime our community could get in the gym and we could be there with them, it was pretty awesome atmosphere.
And I want to ask you just about the Minden community too, because I had been to a couple of different volleyball matches from across that central Nebraska area, and going to a Minden volleyball match is I mean, it's one of the crazier atmospheres you can go to. The students really buy in, and they're very knowledgeable about the game too. They know what's happening in
Yeah.
the contest more than just going to just cheer and be loud. They know when to be, when a critical moment is, and your fans, parents, and everyone else that comes out from the community also just really supports it. Has that always been the case, or has that been a trend in the rise the past couple of years with the state titles, or what's that been like?
Well, I certainly think success helps, obviously, but I think there's always been a huge support for volleyball, but also just sports in general. If you come to most of our games, it's just a good atmosphere. People really buy in. It's definitely a small town, and so if there's not a lot to do necessarily, and so if you're going to be somewhere, coming to a game is a great place. Also, we stream all of our games, and there's times that it was tough to like they were having some technical difficulties. There's just so many people trying to get on, and so that was fun.
Is that an added layer for you? I mean, obviously, you're not worried about what's going on in the internet stream when you're coaching the game, but is that something that affects maybe your players or your coaching when you see the extra bodies entering the gym or getting more excited as the JV match is wrapping up? And I remember watching one of those Kearney Catholic matches. It might have been one of the district finals or sub
I
district
think that
finals.
the district final was pretty insane. It was packed, and that was one that we lost. It was kind of a little bit of a heartbreaker in 2023. But honestly, that was probably good for us in the end, and it kind of fueled us. But anyway, in an added layer, not necessarily. But the number of people, it just gets you excited, and our kids feed off of that. And it's just been a really great ride with all of that. So we hope that that continues just with different players. I hope that
Yeah.
fans continue to follow, and I think they will because it's Minden.
And that has to be another fun part about this, that you've seen some great locations with the challenges of your schedule that you've been to. You've been in great environments. I know you've been there for a little bit now, so I think you're well enough endowed to be able to help me out on this. I'm curious to know, what's your favorite road trip? You can say the Bob Vinny Sports Center. I'm not going to give you
Okay, I
that one.
can't
So
say that.
that'd be very easy. But do you have like a regular road trip that you're maybe not always looking forward to, but you like the routine of it? There's a place that you always stop at. Maybe you get like the dinner at a certain place or something along those lines.
Our usually when we go to away games, our parents feed us, and so that's nice. But I think my kids really love the Gothenburg tournament,
Mm.
and they do a great job of running that tournament, and so I probably would say that. Um, it hasn't always been the case. 2020 was a rough year for us in terms of that, so wouldn't have necessarily been my favorite place then, but. Our kids really have, in the last 4 years, loved going to that tournament just because of the intense competition, and you're always gonna you always have to be on your game.
Coach, I also want to ask, and you mentioned some of the details from your back-to-back state championship teams the past 2 years. There is a moment when you talked about, or someone from one of your teams talked about watching Secretariat. Now, where did that come from, and how did that come about, and how did it help your team?
Well, so each year we choose a theme as we prepare for the season, and I'm probably more of a process-based coach. Like, so I want to focus on the process rather than the outcome. And so the first year, 2023, the first year we won state, the theme was trust the climb, and just trusting the process throughout the climb, hopefully to get to the top. And so last year's was um, embrace the race. So just embracing all of it. And it's probably a little bit more of a marathon, honestly. But embracing all parts, whether it be the good, the bad, and so one of my assistant coaches had watched that movie recently, and then we just kind of brought it in with our kids. We had that loss in the conference tournament last year in 2024, and a little bit of a heartbreaker as well, but probably, again, one of the best things for us. Losing teaches us things. And so honestly, that was a great moment. Losing that game, we went back to the locker room. It wasn't like a heated discussion. I kind of felt things kind of that coming. But my kids asked if they could talk without the coaches for a while, and they came up with a list of things that they wanted to do. And we had short time before districts. And so they gave me a list. I tried to make as many things as I could happen. Like, one was just bringing in another coach that could really attack really hard at our kids. And then I came up with some team building things. So we did a team building activity. Then we went and had supper at a player's house. And then we watched the movie Secretariat. And that was the Sunday night prior to sub-districts. But 2 days after losing to in the Southwest Conference. And so those were great. Those are great memories. And hopefully we want to always refocus them on getting back to the theme, or what we want them to be really focused on, the process instead of the outcome. And we had to be one game at a time.
Yeah. So if 2023 was a climb, 2024 was a marathon, is 2025 just about accepting the pressure of success?
Yeah, that might be a great way to look at it. Our theme has something to do with elevating, and so we're going to have to elevate our skills and our play, and and it has to be every day. We have to get a little bit better every day, and so yeah, but handling the pressure of success, because there is going to be pressure, and probably some of my inexperienced kids, there's going to be some hard times that come along the way. But really, that's what sports is about, and it teaches you so much about your character and how you can be resilient. And so that's my hope, honestly, for all of them, is that they develop those skills along the ways that'll help them later in their adult lives.
And of course, just getting ready for this upcoming season and being ready for that big moment. Can you give us a little bit of a preview? I've been searching high and low for this volleyball schedule, and it seems like they come out later and later every single year. What are some of the key matches that maybe you've already circled and are getting ready for when it comes to your upcoming season?
Um, the Holdrege match will be great. The Ogallala will be a really great match. Lincoln Lutheran again, and Gothenburg. Coach Malberg always figures things out, and so they'll be great. And our conference games that'll be good, and so looking forward to all those.
Do you have a favorite coach you like to coach against? Maybe more of a rival than maybe an enjoyment of coaching against them, but is there one you enjoy the competition?
I really Coach Malberg from Gothenburg. I like coaching against him. I like trying to think about what maybe he's thinking about, and I hope that the feeling is the same. But Susie Ziegler from Lincoln Lutheran, obviously she's a great coach. She's always thinking about how she can better. So I have to be thinking like that, and yeah, those are just great people and good mentors.
All right, coach. Well, let's get you out on this one. I do want to ask because the biggest rivalry that's kind of in that area is Holdrege and Minden. And it's such a unique rivalry because of one, I feel like it's perfect because it's just enough distance where both schools are just far enough apart across a county line. It's one highway in between the two, but you also have beautiful shades of purple. I mean, it's one of the best uniform matchups that you can possibly have.
Yes.
What is it about that rivalry that sticks out the most to you, and why isn't it so important to both towns?
I think it's been important for a long time. I think just for years and years, maybe long before me, because of our just our locations and maybe similarities in towns. And our kids know each other, and so sometimes that fuels the fire a little bit. Um, and it's purples.
That is
So
fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's for sure. And they're going to be really good this year.
Mhm. And then on top of that, I did have somebody ask me. I was telling my girlfriend that I was going to be talking to you, and she was asking a little bit about Minden. And she asked, I've always been curious, what exactly is a Whippet? She knows she could Google it at any point, but do you care to explain what a Whippet is?
Sure, it's just like a mini greyhound dog. Uh, so known for agility and speed.
Much like Minden, right?
Yes, right.
Well, that's great. Well, Coach, we really appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us on
No
the
problem.
show. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Or anything that if people are looking to watch Minden volleyball this season, where they can find that, and how can they follow along with the team?
They can always go to our school's website, and the live stream is there. Um, but just I guess from my standpoint, um, I've just been blessed, really blessed to be part of this program for so long. Ed Rouse was the head coach here for a long time. He still will come in and do some things at times with our kids. And so I was blessed to learn from him, blessed to learn from his competitiveness, and I'm really blessed to have the athletes that we've had, and the care for the program that they've had, and that's the legacy they've left. So
Great way to finish, Coach Ratka. It's always great to watch your program, and it's great to chat with you in person now for the first time. Hopefully we can make this a regular thing, and hopefully we get to see each other in person in the coming months, especially
yeah,
when we move on down the road here closer to the districts and state tournament and such.
yeah, that would be awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to interview me, but also just to focus on small town volleyball or basketball, whatever sports you're focusing on. I think it's awesome because there's just so much history in it, and it's it's great competition.
And especially with a town and a team like yours in the area you are, it's easy to do when you got a team as good as the Minden Whippets. So appreciate it. That's Coach Julie Ratka of Minden Volleyball hanging out with us again here for Small Town Ball. If you want more, go search us on socials with Hurrdat Sports and NEB Preps. And again, you can find us all at hurrdatsports.com.